Hello, my friend. I'm glad you're here again. Take a slow breath in, let it rest for a moment, and release it gently. You don't need to be anywhere else right now. This time belongs to you, to listen, to feel, to simply be. Today's question is this: why do we sometimes hold back our true words, even when our hearts are aching to speak them? There are moments in life when something inside us wants to rise, a truth, a feeling, a confession, a plea. It builds quietly behind the ribs, pressing against the cage of our silence. We can feel the words forming, almost trembling at the edge of release, and yet, somehow, they never cross the threshold. We smile instead. We swallow the ache. We tell ourselves it's not the right time. That silence, for now, is safer. You've probably felt that heaviness, the kind that lingers after a conversation that could have changed everything, if only you had dared to say what you truly meant. Maybe it was love left unspoken, or pain disguised as calm, or a boundary you never set because you didn't want to seem unkind. Maybe it was a truth about who you are, the part of you that no one has really seen. And later, when you're alone, you replay it. The words you didn't say echo louder than the ones you did. You wonder what might have happened if you had been honest. Not out of regret exactly, but from the deep human wish to be known without disguise. So, why do we hold back? Why, when our hearts are so full of truth, do our mouths choose silence? Sometimes it's fear. Fear that our words will cause pain or rejection or loss. Fear that we'll be misunderstood, or that once spoken, our truth will change something we can't control. Because words, once released, are alive. They move through the air and land somewhere, on someone, and we can't call them back. There's no undo button for honesty. So we wait, we soften the edges, we rehearse safer versions of ourselves. Other times, silence isn't about fear, but about care. We choose it because we love someone, because we don't want to hurt them, because we know our truth might break something fragile between us. And yet, if you look closer, that care sometimes hides another truth, that we are trying to protect ourselves from the aftermath of being real. It's easier to bear the loneliness of what's unspoken than to face the risk of speaking and not being met. To be misunderstood in our truth can feel lonelier than to stay silent. So we hold back, thinking silence will keep us safe. But safety has a cost. The unsaid words don't disappear. They stay with us. They settle like small stones inside the chest, adding weight over time. And the longer we carry them, the more they start to change us. Unspoken truth hardens into distance. The things we don't say begin to shape the spaces between us and others. Conversations stay on the surface. Laughter feels a little thinner. We tell ourselves everything's fine, but beneath it we know something's missing. The raw, imperfect honesty that makes connection real. Sometimes the silence we keep with others mirrors the silence we keep with ourselves. We avoid saying the truth out loud because it would make us face what we've tried to ignore. The relationship we've outgrown, the job that drains us, the feeling we can't shake. Speaking truth means acknowledging it, and acknowledgement can be the beginning of change, something we may not yet be ready for. So we stay quiet. We convince ourselves that not saying it keeps the peace. But peace built on suppression is brittle. It cracks in the smallest storm. There's another layer to this too. Language itself can feel too small for what we want to express. How do you put grief into words, or awe, or the ache of loving someone who doesn't love you the same way? Sometimes we stay silent, not because we're afraid, but because our experience feels too vast for language. The heart speaks in currents, not sentences. And still, even imperfect words are better than none, because speaking gives form to what's real inside us. It doesn't have to be eloquent, it just has to be true. The truth is, every unspoken word leaves an echo, a question that never gets answered. We might think we're protecting a relationship by staying silent, but often it's the silence that slowly erodes it. Because intimacy grows in the space where truth can live, not in perfection, not in constant agreement, but in the brave exchange of honesty. This is what I feel. This is who I am. This is what hurts me. When we withhold that, we build invisible walls. We still share time, but not ourselves. And sometimes, the people around us don't even know those walls exist, because we've built them with such skill, disguised as kindness, calmness, or independence. But what would happen if you began to lower them, if you let the rawness show? If you spoke, even trembling, what your heart has been waiting to say? There's risk, yes. People may not respond the way you hope. Some may turn away, some may not understand, but the ones who are meant to stay, they will. And you'll feel something even greater than relief. You'll feel alignment, that feeling when the inside of you finally matches the outside, when you stop carrying words that were never meant to be buried. And you might also discover something softer, that speaking truth doesn't always mean conflict. Sometimes it invites tenderness. When you show someone your real self, you offer them permission to do the same. Honesty, when spoken with love, doesn't divide, it deepens. Of course, there will still be times when silence is wisdom, when speaking would only harm, or when the truth isn't ready yet to be heard. But there's a difference between silence chosen with peace and silence kept out of fear. You can feel it. One sits quietly in the heart, the other throbs. Maybe that's what this is really about. Learning to tell the difference. Learning to ask yourself, what am I protecting by staying silent? Is it love or fear? Is it grace or avoidance? And if you find that the silence has become a cage instead of a shelter, maybe it's time to open the door, even a little. Maybe the ache you feel isn't from holding too much inside, but from denying your own voice its truth. You don't have to speak it all at once. Start with the smallest honesty, even if it's just to yourself. Write it down, whisper it in the dark, say it into the wind if you must. There's power in hearing your own voice tell the truth, even when no one else is listening, because that's where courage grows, in the quiet practice of being real. And once you've done it enough, you'll begin to speak it to others too, not as an explosion, but as a steady light, the kind of truth that doesn't demand to be heard, only offered. There's something sacred in that kind of honesty. It doesn't shout or wound, it invites. It says, "Here I am, as I am, and those who can meet you there, they will. Those who can't, were never yours to lose." So, my friend, if your heart is aching with unsaid words tonight, maybe this is your moment to listen, not just to what's missing from your conversations, but to what's missing from your own expression. Your voice matters, even if it trembles, especially if it trembles. Truth has its own quiet way of finding those who need to hear it. And when you finally speak, wipe words that once weighed heavy on your chest find their way into the open. Something within you will shift. The world won't suddenly change, but you will. You'll feel lighter, clearer, more whole. Because truth doesn't just connect us to others, it connects us back to ourselves. Let your silence rest, yes, but not forever. when the time comes, trust your heart to speak. Even if your voice shakes, even if the world doesn't understand, it's worth it. Because in that moment, you are no longer holding back your life. You are living it. Thank you for being here, for giving yourself this moment to reflect. Stay gentle, stay curious, and stay kind. And if this question spoke to you, continue your journey with us on Yarven's Questions. More stories, more reflections, and more quiet truths are waiting for you. Take care, my friend. Until next time.